I'm Eric Vernon, the second half of Baldwin and Vernon, and today we have with us Wendy Bridges, our paralegal assistant and office manager, who is going to help walk us through what our clients have to do to prepare for responding to discovery. Wendy, wouldn't you agree there are really there's three written types of discovery that we receive from defense counsel, right?
Yes, we receive interrogatories, which are basically questions that require answers, and we receive requests for production of documents, which kind of speaks for itself. They want all kinds of documents. And then the third one, which we send out more than we get, is what's called request for admissions, which is you either admit or deny whatever statement they're asking.
Now, do those documents go directly to the clients and then they send them to defense counsel?
No, they come through us first, and typically the day we get them, you have 30 days to respond to them from the time you get them. We can ask for extensions, but we try to follow that 30 days. So they email them to me. I email them and send a letter off and regular mail to the client saying, okay, here are these documents. You need to respond, and here's an appointment I've made you to come in, and you'll sit down with me and we'll go over them. Because clients always get overwhelmed. They see all this and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Like how many, the interrogatories, how many questions are typically asked?
Typically 20 to 25, sometimes 30. And they sometimes have some subparts, which I think the statutes have changed. But yeah, sometimes they have like A, B, C, and D.
Right, and some of the questions have multiple answers, right? When they ask, name everybody that knows anything about this case.
Right. And people do. They get overwhelmed, and I know, and I try to reassure them, because I get phone calls typically a couple days after, people who are just like, they see this and they just like, oh my goodness, it makes them anxious. And I just tell them, don't take it so serious, but we need to sit down, we need to meet, we need to discuss. And a lot of times, 50% of the time, a client will need to go back and get me some other stuff, or we'll go over the responses, and they'll respond to them then. It just takes some thinking about sometimes.
So you send the discovery off to our clients and ask them to draft up responses?
Draft up their responses. They can either email them to me or write them down, as long as they have good handwriting, so that I can input their answers electronically. And then I make them the appointment. They'll come in, meet with me. It's usually maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. We go over everything. They sign authorizations. They'll sign verifications. We gather documents, and we go over it. And if there's anything missing, they do have time to go home and resend stuff if they didn't bring it to me.
What if the other side asks for all my Facebook posts?
Typically, the only time they're ever going to get that is if you actually posted something on your social media about your employer or about coworkers or about your boss or something like that. They can't just have unfettered access to your Facebook. But if you have use social media to post your concerns about your employer or your dislikes of your employer, then they're probably going to be able to get that.
Is there a way to download that stuff or something?
Yes, there is. It's called a Facebook download. Clients typically, and everyone thinks, I deleted it off my Facebook. There is no such thing as deleting off your Facebook.
Is that right?
It's always there forever.
Oh, wow.
If you can go in and it's called download your Facebook account, and it takes like an hour, and it's a zip file, and it's very large, and it will show everything you've ever done, posted, whether you deleted it, added, it's there forever. It's not gone.
What about text messages? If I have text messages on my phone that I think are really, really relevant to the lawsuit, my boss sent me this text message calling me a bad name or something.
You definitely need to save those.
How do I give them to you?
The easiest way is for you to email them or text me. I give clients my cell phone sometimes but my phone, I can text to my email. I will send myself reminders at work to my work email, so I see it on Monday. If I think of something over the weekend, I just send a text to my email. Sometimes clients, they, for whatever reason, they just want to be able to send the text to a cell phone, so I just give them my cell phone. That's fine.
Can you take screenshots?
You can, but typically they are going to want what they call native data off of it. So you should probably send it in a form, because we just had this last week. A client produced pictures in their case of some unsafe things going on at their work while they were working there, and so he emailed me JPEGs, because they were actual. Well, I in turn, for discovery purposes, turned those into a PDF, and so we produced them that way with numbers, and everything. Well, now he testified in his deposition that yes, those pictures had the native data on them. So luckily, I just went back to his original email that he had sent me and ended up forwarding that to defense counsel, going, okay, here they are, and they're native the way he produced them off his phone. So it gives them the date, the time, they can go back. That's what they're looking for, because they want to know if that picture was taken, 2 years after he quit, or if he wasn't even there. They want to be able to show that it was taken when he says it was.
So you have a meeting, which actually I saw you having this kind of meeting with some clients this morning before we came to our
Right.
podcast,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And you go over all the discovery responses with them?
Yes, we go over everything, and typically what I do is I ask them, I go, okay, here's your copy, here's my copy. Let's first start with ones that you did not answer or you do not understand how to answer. And so we go over those first, and then we just go through, and I just look over their answers and just make sure they're responsive.
What happens? You said you try to get everything done. We have 30 days or whatever, and then you send everything in. Mm-hmm. What happens if I forgot something? If I just 60 days later think to myself, oh, so-and-so, has some important information.
It's an ongoing process, and I try to explain that to clients too when we have these initial meetings, that we can supplement at any time. There's usually a discovery closing date, but it's 30 to 60 days outside of trial. So, every year when you get your new W-2s, bring me your new W-2s, we'll supplement. I have clients all the time that, can't find a picture right now, but they go home and 3 months later find it. But we can always supplement unless discovery is closed. So, yeah, it's just ongoing.
And are you or the lawyers available to answer questions?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's always better to, I tell clients all the time, I get clients all the time that call me and say, is this weird? Should I give this? And I'm like, it's not a dumb question. I'm like it's better to give more than try to keep it back.
So remember that if there's stuff about discovery that we haven't covered in this little podcast, call Wendy and ask, or
Definitely.
Kevin and Eric, but you're more likely to get Wendy because we might be running off to court somewhere. So thank you for sharing with us today, Wendy. And
Thank you.
I'm Eric Vernon for Baldwin and Vernon. Thank you.